We'd like to touch on AI with you. We're wondering how AI is part of your, impacting the strategy
Yeah,
here.
that's a
And
that's a great question. My
I'm
answer
sure it's a number of ways, but
my answer yesterday is probably different than the answer today, which will be
no.
different than the
Uh,
answer tomorrow. So yeah, we've really tried to embrace generative AI in a responsible manner. I mean, clearly, I kind of call it there's two different buckets of AI from my seat. There's productivity tools that we probably many of us are starting to use every single day, like ChatGPT, Writer.com, Copilot. And then there's thinking about different ways to transform the business. And so one of the things that we're looking at is, one of our largest bucket of costs are our claims costs. Obviously, we're an insurance company. We pay claims every single day, right? So how do we use generative AI to help make that process better and more efficient? And when we say more efficient, we're not talking about replacing people. We're just trying to make those people more efficient in their day-to-day, jobs. And that's an area too where you have so many claims that you're handling every day that if you can use generative AI to help you not make mistakes, that'll be hugely beneficial to the bottom line. From my seat, I would say just holistically looking at generative AI, one of the things that I'm focused on is trying to make sure that value propositions are there. I think this is an area where your investment dollars could really eclipse your value proposition if you're not trying to do it smartly. And so we're trying to keep it somewhat focused on key initiatives, while still ensuring that people have the tools that they expect to have. Obviously, I think generative AI is one of those spaces where people are going to expect that they have those things to help them do their jobs every day. And so you can't fall behind in that area, but it's a balancing act for sure.
there are a lot of insure tech vendors out
There.
there, and I'm sure there are lots of AI tools that they would love to sell you. But what guides your decision when you develop something in house versus buying one of theirs?
Yeah, it's interesting. We as a company for a long time, and I mean like decades, had very much I would say a tilt more towards build. And I think what we're learning is that to be quick and to figure out how to adopt things quickly and get them in service quickly and really be more efficient, you've probably got to look more at the buy functionality, while ensuring that you're getting the best tools out there. I think I think the best thing that you can do in this type of decision is you can't have, I would say, IT by themselves making this decision. You've got to have the business at the table, really driving the business requirements, IT understanding what it is that the business needs, and then figuring out if there's a tool that you can easily buy to help meet those requirements. And I think that's where people sometimes get sideways is I think many times people think that they can build things that you could probably easily buy.
But in a lot of companies, it seems like the department heads and sort of the regular budgeting back and forth, department heads would come and say, well, we're really happy we got those 100 licenses for those LLMs. But meanwhile, we do want to make a dozen hires in the coming months. And, finance might be like, well, let's see how we leverage those 100 licenses over the next 6 months. And then maybe we talk about those hires. Does that reflect some of the thinking within your
Yeah, I
organization?
would say that's definitely fair. I think it's a hard balancing act. You've got to have the right people internally to help you figure out the tools to buy and how to deploy those and how to most importantly maximize the value that's being driven out of those tools. But at the same time, you know, I am a finance person, so I know anybody who wants to ask for headcount is, or any project out there is going to want headcount. And so, what we've tried to do, I would say, internally here is the executive leadership team has come together on multiple occasions to really put together a generative AI strategy. And then we're trying to let the strategy guide the decisions below. That's not to say it's perfect. There's certainly been friction with regards to how quickly we're going to deploy some of these things and how many people to hire. But I think that we're at least trying to keep it somewhat confined and then figure out as we successfully deploy a few of these things how that looks when it's scaled, if that makes sense.